that the microphone in here doesn't quite meet the enthusiasm of the local Labour Party. Places like Calder Valley have always decided elections, and activists like you guys are the people that make the difference. So thank you everyone for coming here today, and thank you to the Town Hall for having us here. We've got a really important question over the next few weeks, which is how do we want to be represented locally and how do we want to be represented nationally? Do you want the government that will stay strong and stable while presiding over the biggest fall in the pound in British history? Do you want the government that thinks it's strong to introduce the bedroom tax of the week? Because that's not strong, that's a bully. Or do you want someone with a tradition of standing up to that rather than standing by? It's not to say yes. It's not going to be easy, and we're going to need all of your support getting out there and talking to people. We're going to need all of your support getting out and talking to people. But if it was easy, it would have been done already. It's never been easy to make the world a better place, but it's always worth doing. It's always worth getting ourselves excited about that. And that's why I'm really proud to introduce the next Prime Minister of this country.
Good afternoon, Hebden Bridge. And thank you for coming. Josh, thank you for what you just said. Thank you for what you do. And thank you for what you will do when you're the MP for Calder Valley. Because you've got a candidate who is serious on campaigning against poverty, serious about representing the area, serious about standing up for the schools, not doing stunts and then not delivering on them. I think you know what I'm referring to. I don't want to bring personalities into any of this. And very serious. Did somebody say something? And very serious about the needs of the community, and also being serious about flood defences and river management. So through winter after winter where we just go into a crisis, everybody wrings their hands and then hopes it's not too wet in the summer. That's not good enough. People should not go through the trauma and the stress of having their homes flooded year in, year out. It's up to us to invest properly to make sure there are proper river management procedures and flood defences. And so what you need is an MP who's going to do those things, and Josh is your man. Is a very, very interesting experience because there's two campaigns going on. There's one where you read negativity, you read attacks, you read personal abuse in many of our national papers, and then there's the other campaign, which is the amazing levels of enthusiasm, energy and participation by people from all ages, all walks of life, in our campaign, in our party, because we're serious about the kind of society we all want to live in. I've just come from Liverpool, where I was invited. Yes, we'll kick off the football question. Just come from Liverpool, where I was very honoured to be invited to speak to the RCN conference. And I opened my speech by just saying thank you to all those in our health service who work so hard, way beyond the hours for which they're paid, with a 14% cut in their pay over the past 7 years, but deliver the best service they can for all of us. I thank them for coping with the stress they're going through because of the cyber attack, frankly, the criminal highway robbery that's going on against the NHS. And I said the responsibility for that lies, of course, with those that are mounting this attack, but it also lies with the failure of the government to protect our NHS systems or indeed any other systems. You need a government that will intervene, that will support and will protect our National Health Service. John Ashworth and I have been discussing this, and there's a few very quick things I want to say to you. Firstly, because I believe very passionately in this, when we say we want parity of esteem between physical and mental health, I absolutely mean it. Because I want to end the stigma surrounding mental health, but invest in the mental health services so that people don't suffer in silence and suffer alone, and some sadly take their own lives because they feel a sense of hopelessness and being left behind. We as a community will invest in our mental health services. And we will do the same for our social care services, because there are more than 1 million people waiting for social care to be provided for them. That's not right. And if the government can do sweetheart deals for Surrey, well, how about making us all a sweetheart and getting all of us getting the same deal as Surrey? Although I do realise for Tory ministers, Surrey is the hardest word. Well, I know that was pretty awful, but it's the best I can do. The best I can do today. And so our offer is that we will properly fund the NHS and we will ensure that it isn't privatised. £14 billion contract. Some
you do all these things that you say you're going to do.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you very much. Yes. And tomorrow our manifesto will be launched. Now, none of you have seen any of it so far. I fully appreciate that. But all the spelling mistakes will be removed. The grammar will be perfect and correct. And I think you're going to like the contents of it.
Yeah.
And when... yes, I think I agree. Yeah, what do you say?
Save the planet.
I hear you. Okay, I absolutely hear you. There's a story going around in some of the papers that the Tory party have now become the friend of the working class and the workers. I simply ask this question. Would you call a government that allows 6 million people to earn less than the living wage a friend of those in work? No. Would you call a government that allows 1 million people to be working on 0 hours contracts, not knowing what their pay is going to be from one week to the other? Would you call a government that charges fees and costs for those that take their case for justice to an employment tribunal on the side of those that are at work? Obviously not. I didn't quite understand the point, but I'm sure I agree with you. We have put forward a comprehensive charter which is rights of work at day one, is the right to trade union representation, is the right to maternity and paternity leave, is the right to equality representation and health and safety representation at work. A whole comprehensive series of proposals there. This election is at one level about the services we want to deliver. I've talked about health. I talk about education. I think all schools should be properly funded and not have to have collections amongst the parents to pay the teachers. That seems to me something that's fundamentally wrong. Because I want a decent chance for every child in every school, whatever the postcode. And this election is about how we deal with an economy. Do we spend the next 5 years reducing tax for corporations and the very rich? Or do we spend the next 5 years investing all across the country in good infrastructure, in sustainable industries, in the good services that we need, in our young people and the skills that they need? We all know what the choice is, but it's also about the values you have, the kind of society that you want to live in. Do we want to live in a society where everything is so ultra competitive, we end up with thousands sleeping on the streets every night, where we end up with so many people living in poverty, and we end up with so many people insecure in work, in homes, in health and in education? Or do we say the whole traditions of the Labour movement are about us doing things collectively, us looking after each other collectively? And our National Health Service is an example of that. Our attitude towards the natural world and the environment is an example of that. And so when you read the manifesto tomorrow, please take it in and understand all the work that's gone into it and all the ideas that are there and the opportunities it gives to all of us. But we have 3 weeks. 3 weeks to get that message out. 3 weeks to ensure that everybody who is eligible is on the electoral register. 3 weeks to get the message out there of how different our society and our country could be. 3 weeks here in Calder Valley to get out and get all the support you possibly can to get Josh elected, to get somebody elected who will truly represent this area. Truly represent this area and the needs of all of the people. That is the Labour message. And I tell you this, the thousands that are working for us in the party, the thousands that are coming out on the streets, it is a movement for change, a movement that will genuinely create a society and a government that works for the many, not just for the few. That is the Labour way. Completely disappears. Can I thank all of you for coming here today, the support you're giving, and I'm sure the great friendships and comradeship you're building up during that campaign, because it's that strength that brings about the real changes in society. I'll now go and make the same speech outside. Thank you very much.